Alright, now we're getting good. If you've been watching my videos or listening to my live streams, you know that the first 3 episodes of Ahsoka really didn't do much for me. I just wasn't feeling it. The show is so similar to other shows, I didn't quite feel the relationship between characters was as strong as it should have been. I should have been on the edge of my seat for the episode 3 TIE fighters and dogfight and all that jazz, but it just felt flat. The direction wasn't quite there for me. Not that exciting. I did like the opening training sequence of episode 3, I like their droid companion, but the 3rd episode just didn't hit. Now, the 4th episode, on the other hand, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes, the chunky stuff that I like. Episode 4 was great. It broke away from retreading on what came before, for the most part, right? It kind of broke away from retracing the steps of characters and motivations and setup for the past 3 episodes. It was far more exciting both in terms of action and plot twists and turns. Characters are at their lowest points in the show so far. They're split, conflicting motivations, conflicting loyalties. Sabine's love of her friend, her hope that Ezra can be found, that she may one day see him again, that love has forced her hand. It's forced her action. She hands Balin the map. She goes off with the bad guys. Is that surprising? Maybe a bit, but she's a maverick. She's a rule breaker. But in this moment, I think it's more that she's blinded by the possibility of saving one very important person in her life rather than making the decision to preserve the galaxy and prevent a major threat from re-emerging. I get it. I would burn down the world for my kid. Any parent would, but she had it in her hands. She could have delayed or outright stopped the plan to find and bring back Thrawn, but she didn't. This was the moment when the show really got interesting to me. I love when we as audience members cannot predict what will happen. I love when there are heavy twists and turns in my Star Wars, unexpected moments. That's what ignites something in my brain, like a puzzle, and has me wanting to figure out the next step. I love this stuff. So before the episode, Ahsoka, the show, was on track to be kind of forgettable to me. But after this episode, I am truly on board. I just hope it can stay that way. I can be picky. Masters and apprentices, Ahsoka and Sabine, Balin and Shin. We see 2 very different relationships between these duos. Balin and Shin certainly seem, at least on the surface, to be more in lockstep with their motivations. And as is now more apparent than ever, Ahsoka and Sabine are not. The conversation that Balin has with Sabine does not seem insincere. It doesn't seem like he's trying to dupe her. Yes, he wants her to not destroy the map. Yes, he wants her to disarm and come with them, but he doesn't seem insincere when he tells her that, they share a common goal. He gives her his word that no harm will come to her. And when she disarms and hands over the map, he tells Shin to let her go, keeping his word. The best villains are not cartoonish, mustache-twirling bad guys who just want to do bad things. The best villains have motivations. Motivations that you might not agree with, but you can understand in a way from their point of view. The best villains have deep-seated convictions, and while they might look disgusting and nefarious and evil to everyone outside of their circle, the convictions to them are justified. The best villains are evil because they believe what they're trying to achieve. And at the moment, Balin is a fantastic villain. He's not hellbent on the destruction of the remaining Jedi. He's a little apprehensive to that idea. He's a little nostalgic for that time. Shin is younger and a bit more of a hothead, doesn't have as much experience, and maybe is, loyal through and through without question. Balin is far more measured, almost wise. He's a great character. In the end, Ahsoka is in the world between worlds and we see Anakin. It's great. I am not immune to this level of sentimentality. I can't wait to see how this relationship continues. Will Anakin play a larger role in the story, or will he be more of a guiding force, more of an entity in Ahsoka's subconscious that subtly pushes her and mentors her and teaches her? It's hard to say. I'm sure they'll have a lot to talk about in the next episode. At least I hope so. I wouldn't mind if the entirety of episode 5 was just Ahsoka and Anakin sitting down and shooting the shit. You guys know me, I'm typically the guy who doesn't care for bringing back characters, rehashing things we've seen before, but in this instance, for whatever reason, I am 100% on board. Anyway, thanks for watching. HelloGreedo, out.